What is up, Packers fans, and welcome back to the Daily Draft. I am your host, Ross Uglem, the publisher of Pack Report, and today we are brought to you by Brewski, light lager from Badger State Brewing, the greatest can in all of Wisconsin. And today we are breaking down USC center offensive line, however you'd like to designate him, Jonah Monheim. And the reason that I say however you want to designate him is the first thing in his pros. Versatility. He has played all over for USC in 2023. He was their starting left tackle and did that at a very high level. Kicked inside to center as a senior, and that is probably where he'll end up as a pro. We'll talk about that in the cons section of why he's probably going to end up at center. But ultimately, I think a very useful offensive line prospect and somebody that's probably going to start in the NFL for quite a long time. Monheim moves really well, profiles as a good athlete. We'll see in Indy. I'd like to pair what I see on film with, the short area stuff. I don't care what kind of 40 an offensive lineman runs, but I'd like to see a good 3-cone. I'd like to see a good 10-yard split. Certainly like to see a good vertical leap as far as testing out that explosive ability that he can cover in that first 2 to 3 yards, his ability potentially to move people as well. This athleticism applies to his ability to get to the second level in a zone blocking scheme, and I also see it when he's involved in the screen game. This is a human being who can move in space at 307 pounds. It's impressive. I like it. He plays with excellent pad level. That probably is a little bit natural, as he's not the tallest offensive lineman in the world, I believe. I think these are verified measurements. I would assume they're from an all-star game, 6'4", 307, because they've got a pretty darn specific arm length, which we'll talk about once again in the cons, but not the tallest offensive lineman in the world. So yes, often it is easy to have natural pad level when you're not particularly tall. With that said, does a good job with it. Mirrors super well in pass protection game. He'll be a good interior pass protector. A lot of times you'll see that with guys that have history as a tackle. He's got tackle feet. You move him inside. He's going to be able to stay in front of people. His anchor, I don't know, maybe not so much as far as, just getting like bull rushed. If it was a 330-pound zero nose and it was a good one, he might get knocked back a little bit. But other than that, he's got the feet and the ability to mirror, and he'll be a good interior pass protector. Centers, intelligence you're always looking for. That appears to be very good. And leadership you're looking for. 2-time captain for USC. So you always like to see that. Again, that's not necessarily like, film work or, so this is what I see on film with Jonah Monheim. But hey, USC is a big-time program. You see a guy as a multiple-time captain. You know what? That guy can play center for me. That guy can be my center. So I like that. I think, and I talked about this too a little bit when I was discussing Gray Zabel from North Dakota State. I think Jonah Monheim, as he showed in the Pac-12, I think he could play tackle for you in a pinch. In a, we dressed our 2 starting tackles. We dressed 1 swing tackle. Our left tackle went down. Our swing tackle went down. We need somebody to play left tackle without getting our quarterback killed. I think Jonah Monheim can probably step in and play tackle in a pinch without getting someone killed. Folks, Badger State is hosting the ultimate draft week tailgate party right outside the draft perimeter. We're talking Wisconsin's best beers. There'll be a station where they make old fashions. They're going to have 6 incredible food trucks, nightly local music, and special pop-up vendors and retailers from Wisconsin producers. Don't just watch history, experience it at Badger State Brewing. Take your crew, grab a brewski, and we will see you April 22nd through the 27th, just steps from the draft stage. Cons. He is a short offensive lineman with really short arms. I think there's no way that his full-time role in the NFL is at tackle. Everybody already seems to have made peace with that. I think his overall ranking and his ranking for me has made peace with that as well. He's guard in the NFL. He's guard, center, guard, maybe tackle, won't get you killed, but that's for a game or a half or a 2-week stretch while you're either combing through other free agent tackles or trying to get your guy back healthy. I don't think Monheim is a long-term guy there. Strength or play strength does not, to me, excuse me. His strength or his play strength does not, to me, appear to be elite. I don't think he's going to dominate as a run blocker right away. I don't know if he'll ever get there. Again, it's a passing league. Like even last night, right? We saw, I guess I'm recording this the day after the Super Bowl. Yes, Saquon Barkley was awesome this year. Yes, Saquon Barkley super valuable. The Eagles won the Super Bowl throwing the ball. Jalen Hurts throwing the ball and rushing the other teams. It's a passing league. Eagles won by rushing Pat Mahomes, getting him to turn the ball over, and they won because their quarterback, Jalen Hurts, had the game put on his shoulders by Kansas City, stopping Barkley, and he won. He did well, largely due to excellent protection. And that Eagles offensive line is no joke, especially when it comes to pass pro. Good pass pro guy. He will not road grade. I don't think Jonah Monheim is going to road grade at the next level as a run blocker. And the other thing that I'll say, he's a good player. He's not a finisher. And that could be, again, I'm kind of comparing him to Zabel because I think he might be in a fight with Zabel for the top center in the draft. Like Zabel, you see him putting guys' face in the dirt, right? And that is not something that you see from Jonah Monheim. I think he's athletic. I think he's technically sound. But as far as being an a-hole, which maybe not as much at center, but I'd like my offensive linemen to all have a little bit of a-hole in them. Monheim is not putting faces in the dirt. That's not necessarily what he does. Packers fit. I think he's a really high level fit for Green Bay. I do. He's their size. He's got versatility as a former collegiate left tackle. Again, left tackle for the Trojans in 2023, center for the Trojans in 2024. He's a West Coast guy. They love West Coast guys, right? Rodgers, Matthews, Nick Perry, Kenny Clark. I mean, the list goes on and on. Players from that part of the region, Devontae Adams, James Jones, like they're in on their West Coast guys, and a lot of that has to do with Sam Seal. You get the Sam Seal of approval, you're good to go. Jonah Monheim might have that. They like I said, they have their eye on those West Coast schools. I used to call it the Pac-12. Pac-12, rest in peace. USC obviously in the Big Ten now, so we'll just refer to it as West Coast. I think athletically he's going to test as a Packer. We'll see. Indy hasn't happened. We don't know. So we'll see what goes on when they, put the underwear on and run the underwear Olympics. I think Monheim athletically, just based on what I can see from film, looks like a guy that will test like a Green Bay Packer. And the most obvious of obvious things when we're talking about Jonah Monheim's fit with the Green Bay Packers, they have a free agent at center. Josh Myers is leaving. Yes, there's a chance he could come back. I don't know how many fans want him back. I think Myers was blamed for a lot of stuff, and part of that I think is accurate, but part of it I think it has to do with him getting drafted right before Creed Humphrey, and just kind of generally being a disappointment. Right, the Packers had like a fifth-round center in Lindsley, and Wells was not a high draft pick either. And then you spend this top 60 pick on Josh Myers, and he's not dominant, and the guy taken right after him is an All-Pro. I think that stuff works against him a little bit and is maybe painting him to be a worse player than he actually is. With that said, be absolutely cool with them spending a mid-round pick on Monheim and even installing him as the day one starter, or working in, like Ryan and Morgan and working in Jenkins as a center until Monheim's ready. I think that'd be a heck of a plan. I think that I could really get behind that. Overall, Jonah Monheim has a 4th-round grade for me. He is my 122nd overall player. We'll see. I think there's a little bit more upside than that, but I don't like this center class, so it might bump him up a half a round. Like, he might be a 4th-round grade for me, and he'll probably be a top 3 center in the class. I don't love this offensive line class as a whole. I don't love the tackles. I don't love the centers. It's not last year's class. I'll tell you that for sure. But Monheim, I think, has a decent chance to be in a Green Bay Packer, and he is a good athlete, a good mover, and a good pass protector. I think he would be darn fine as a 3rd or a 4th-round pick for Green Bay. Guys, thank you so much for watching or listening. If you're on the Packers side, check out our friends at Badger State Brewing and do everything you're supposed to do here on the Pack a Day Podcast YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, click the bell to get the notifications so you can get every piece of Packers content that you require on a daily basis. Have a great rest of your week, guys, and go Pack Go!